Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life and a crazy life that's digital asset space. I apologize for that internet freaking interruption, but boy, do I have some really good news here. This is really great news. It is 6:25 Central Time. Recovery plan. A recovery plan for Celsius. Celsius recovery plan. A statement from Simon Dixon and Bank to the Future. Simon Dixon and Bank to the Future. You know, guys, I talk about my guy whenever I say there's going to be this war going on between the central banks and the commercial banks. A lot of that is from me listening to and being a student of Simon Dixon's. And I have his book and been reading it, A Bank to the Future, protect your future before governments go bust. Simon's a very interesting guy. One of the early people in Bitcoin, was one of the first people ever to do Bitcoin conferences. And and started, former investment banker, former trader, this type of thing. Has a significant background, but just kind of believed in Bitcoin and where it was going to go. Banktothefuture.com is a very interesting community, which I am part of, that does a lot of interesting things, but it does allow for accredited investors in the US to participate. And very similar to what Link2 does in terms of being able to get into companies. And he has a very good course and program to really help you financially in a lot of great ways. I like what he does with Bitcoin. I like what he does with the companies, obviously savings. He does a lot of good stuff. And so, especially for someone new, buying a course, I think is probably worth it. Not investment advice, but I think it is really worth it. He has a YouTube channel as Bank to the Future. So YouTube, he has his own channel, which is Simon Dixon. But in any case, Celsius recovery plan. And this guy, and I'll let you read it, has a history of doing such a thing. So take a look at this right here. And here's the thing that I want to say before I go over it. Just as my feeling on it. And I think it's one and else. So the gate is open, Kevin. The gate is open, Mr. O'Leary. But in any case, a lot of times what can happen, okay, and this doesn't mean that it's going to win, but it's a better shot than it was with Celsius acting alone by themselves, right? There's a better chance now, if you will. And so a lot of the investors, people who've already invested in Celsius, this was, Celsius network was like a hot potato. No one wanted to get next to it or close to it, going during this situation. Everyone's afraid, right? Everyone's afraid. No one wants to get close, right? They feel like, as soon as we get access to our money, we're out. Right. And so no one wants to touch it without question. But I believe this is going to what's going to happen. What could happen is after Bank to the Future, you know how they have that saying in business, no one wants to be that first one to take a leap, if you will. But once someone does decide, then others will begin to hop on, right? And it'll work like the first one on takes the most risk, has the chance of the best rewards. The next one coming on has less of a risk and a little bit less of the rewards. And then the next one will come on, they're taking on less risk. You see what I'm saying? And I think this is what probably is going to happen. We shall see. We'll have to see if Simon can do what he did for Celsius, what he can do for Celsius, what he did for Bitfinex. And I'll let you read the article. I'm going to share the article with you as well. And so I'm really excited about this, not because of our assets. I shared our personal journey, and I've shared our losses with you, right? Being in margin lows and having lost, right? Share that with you guys. And there was a chance to take a loss on our biggest holdings, right? There was a chance to take a loss on our biggest holdings. I shared it with you guys. And I know for me, we had decided in our home mentally, we're just flipping a switch. We were going to consider that a loss, and we were going to move on, right? And we're still, right? It's not ours until we have it, right? And so we're going to, you know, we're going to continue with that mindset. But I think this is massive. And look, I think, you know, like I said, no one wants to be the first one to take on the most risk. But Bank to the Future and Simon Dixon. If you don't know who he is, go check him out. Go check him out. BNK to the Future on YouTube, and I think BNK to the future.com as well. He spells bank BNK BNK. So yeah, either way, check him out. I can't believe I'm not following this dude. How am I not following him? Anyway, yeah, so I've been a long time fan and listener, and you know, been on a platform for a while. So that's really, really cool to see that take place. Let's go over this a little bit. Celsius Network Recovery Plan, a statement from me and Bank to the Future. I freaking love it, and I'm still praying for them that they get through it. Celsius Recovery Plan, a statement from Simon Dixon and Bank to the Future. At Bank to the Future, we have 1,000 of our investors that own shares in the Celsius Network SPV. That's what they offer. Our CEO and co-founder Simon Dixon drafted a message for both the Celsius community and our investment community in light of the recent suspension of withdrawals at Celsius. This is from Simon now. Since 2011, I've seen Mt. Gox collapse the market, ICOs collapse the market, and now leverage collapse the market. In each cycle, we innovate solutions using new technologies. Celsius and their CEO, Alex Mashinsky, have been live every week sharing their journey and building a community. I am confident he will find the right solution like our industry always has when financial innovations goes wrong. It's a bottom-up movement, and I have always used bottom-up solutions to recover from disasters in our sector. As a Celsius shareholder, lender, and Bitcoin evangelist, and due to the short-term systemic impact on those that own Bitcoin, I am keen to support Celsius with a recovery plan. As one of the first investors in Bitcoin companies, I have worked with many of them in my times of need. In 2016, in their times of need. Let me say that again. As one of the first investors in Bitcoin companies, I have worked with many of them in their times of needs. In 2016, the next needed a plan to recover from their hack, and the company I co-founded, banktothefuture.com, supported them and executed a recovery that involved security tokens, debt, and equity, and gave investors a very high return for the high risk they took. I commit to supporting Celsius in any way that is useful. They have built a community that believes in bottom up, and we have a platform and experienced team that can help Celsius bottom up. I love it. It says, it will be a hit for a small portion of my total wealth that I have lent out through Celsius if they go down, but it will not impact my finances or Bank to the Future in any meaningful way. I am more concerned for community members that may have a chance at preserving a large percentage of their wealth through a recovery, plus an education and risk management. I believe traditional finance will not have a timely solution for Celsius, as we saw in the past with Mt. Gox, that still remains unresolved 10 years later. I wonder why. Go figure, traditional finance is not going to come to the aid of Alex Mashinsky. I believe that this can only be solved with a solution using financial innovations like we did with Bitfinex that was resolved within 9 months and worked out very well for depositors. It's not my place to reveal information before Alex and the Celsius board are ready. It's my position to offer solutions as we have the experience, licenses, and technology to do so. Our industry has come back stronger from every disaster, and now is the time for us to offer support in a bottom-up way in compliance with the regulations we have always followed. I got to tell you, I'm happy and I'm excited for Alex. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for his family, and hopefully the naysayers and hopefully the people that just continue to want to jump on the negative bandwagons. Hopefully this will kill that noise, like we like to say. Hopefully. So, you know, again, it's not a done deal in terms of the recovery hasn't happened, right? So there's still time. There still has to some things still have to be done. But for Alex's sake and his mental sake and that of his family, because just people just get nasty on Twitter because they can hide behind a computer. It's just really easy to do. So I'm glad I'm glad he has an opportunity to just smile now. Alex does, because he personally, I believe he deserves it. And hopefully his family will be able to smile a little bit. There's still a lot of work to be done. But I think that's a good team right there with Alex Mashinsky working with Simon Dixon. And again, look, I could be wrong, but I do believe that my thoughts on, you know, no one wants to be the first one to say, I'll help. But once you do get one person courageous enough to do so, right, and they got to put their money where their mouth is as well, right? It's just not, you know, cheering from the stands, right? He's got to put his money where his mouth is as well. And I believe once you get the first one to take the biggest risk, then the next one, understanding when they come in, they won't have to take as much of a risk, and then the next one coming in won't have to take as much of a risk, et cetera, et cetera. So we shall see. But I'm excited for him. I'm rooting for him. And I know that I'm going to do all that I can to help Celsius get back to where they should be. And yeah, I'm excited for them. So Simon, my guy, thank you. Mr. Dixon, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you having the courage to take on the risk and open up the gates a little for Celsius and Alex Mashinsky. All right, guys, look, I'm going to wrap it up. Look, what? Holy moly. An actual XRP Ripple daily news in around 10 minutes. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to end this video, my friends, like I do all of my videos, and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it.